Good afternoon, I'm Denise Tan and this is One News Now. Inflation dropped to 4.9% in October, accounting for cheaper food over the past weeks. The latest figure is a significant drop from the 6.1% recorded in September. It is also much lower than what analysts expected at 5.7%, the median estimate according to a Business World poll. The inflation print fell below the 5.1 to 5.9% forecast of the BSP for the month. Average inflation from January to October, meanwhile, stands at 6.4%. This is still far from the government's target band of 2.4 or 2 to 4%. The central bank attributed slower inflation to a decrease in the prices of rice, meat, and vegetables. However, that's not the case for electricity, LPG, fruits and fish, as well as jeepney fares. Now, helping us make sense of these numbers is RCBC Chief Economist Michael Rfor. He joins us via Zoom. Good afternoon, Michael. Thank you for joining us this afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon, Denise, and to your viewers.
Now, what do you make of the 4.9% inflation last month?
Well, that's a pleasant surprise to everybody else. Almost all of the analysts in the market predicted at least 5%, and it came from 6.1%. So, it does make a lot of sense why there's this sudden deceleration in inflation. But if you are to be more circumspect about the effects, of course, that is still a year-on-year increase in the prices of commodities, basic commodities, products and services on the average in the economy. So that's 4.9% compared to a year ago, compared to October of last year. So there's still the price increase that many people, families, and households in the economy, they still feel the increase in prices. But nonetheless, it's slower. That's a consolation. It's slower this time around. But of course, those with limited budgets would still feel the pinch of rising prices nonetheless. And now, what's really, the main contributor is the better weather conditions. So we didn't see much storm damage for the month of October compared to the latter part of July until early September, when there were relatively larger storm damage that led to reduction output in some crops, vegetables, and agricultural products, especially food. Because food accounts for about a third of the total inflation basket. And that's why the better weather conditions help ease the prices after those storm damage around 2 to 3 months before, and that led to increased output, more supply of agricultural products and food products, and that includes also rice. It's the harvest season, starting middle of September and well into October. So that translated to more supply of palay, of rice, leading to some easing in the prices. And that's also consistent with the slight easing in the world price of rice. The Thai rice benchmark from after reaching 15-year highs in August. So we have seen some slight easing in September and also in November. So that partly helped it. And at the same time, even energy prices. Well, this happened surprisingly despite the challenges brought about by the Israel-Hamas war that initially led to some increase in global oil prices.
Now, go ahead.
Yeah, but eventually, just lately, especially since last week, towards the latter part of the month, we already saw global crude oil prices erasing all the increase since the war started. The war started exactly a month ago, since October 7. So NYMEX crude oil price was at 82.79 $82.79 per barrel. it reached as high as 90 a few weeks ago, and now it's even much lower than that starting point of the war. It's now at $80. It's down by $2. So there's well, mathematically, there's still a net decline in fuel prices, some net rollbacks, considering the fact that the immediate high of global crude oil prices was maybe more than a week before the war. It was last September 28 when it was $95. So imagine from $95, it went down to new 3-month lows, the lowest since the latter part of August. Now it's just down to $80. So that those two factors, because early on, around July to August, when there was the initial spike in oil prices and rice prices, so that caused the earlier increase in the previous 2 months. That's why in the previous month it was 6.1%. But now it looks like the easing trajectory, the disinflation trend, as they technically call that, it has resumed already, and that's a good sign. We're moving towards the holiday season. There's a chance that, of course, demand-supply balance, there will be increased demand for goods and services, especially the likes of Noche Buena items, what's being typically purchased by most households and families to prepare for holiday celebrations. They buy meat products like chicken, pork, and so on and so forth, as well as fruits for towards the new year and other basic commodities. Because more people, there would be more parties, more gatherings, more catering, and so on and so forth as they prepare for the holidays and festivities around the country. So there's some slight pickup in demand. Of course, there are bonuses. There's increased income, spending power, decrease in demand, some pickup in prices, but only to go down right after the holiday, upon crossing the new year. So, but despite that, we're running through the numbers. There's still a good chance that headline inflation would be a little over 4%. The easing mode will still continue towards November and December. And by the first quarter, the lowest point would be around January. It could ease to 3% or even less than 3% by January. And for the rest of the first quarter, for February and March, it would be around 3% levels because of the high base effects also. So, however, provided that we don't see an escalation, a wider conflict, and spreading of the war between Israel and Hamas to other countries in the Middle East. And as long as that is contained and manageable, in the sense that, the world leaders have been working diplomatically to prevent it from becoming a wider war, with more countries, especially in the Middle East, being involved, especially if there would be oil-producing countries. So as long as that is well managed, as world powers have been doing so since the war started last month, so there's a good chance to see that if headline inflation would move back already within the inflation target of the BSP, which is 2 to 4%. So we would see that already as early as January, the early part of next year.
Well, we appreciate your insights, Michael, and of course, your time. Thank you again. That was RCBC Chief Economist Michael Rfor. Moving on to another story, the MMDA is slapping stiffer penalties on EDSA busway violators. Beginning next Monday, November 13, first-time offenders will be fined 5,000 pesos. For the second offense, violators will pay 10,000 pesos and will have their licenses suspended for a month. A road safety seminar will also be required. On the third offense, motorists will be fined 20,000 pesos along with a 1-year suspension of their driver's license. A fourth offense means a 30,000 peso fine and revocation of the driver's license. The increased fines will apply to both private and public utility vehicles. The MMDA explained the new fines will ensure the safety of motorists and seamless travel of city buses on their designated lane. The agency will also track down motorists caught speeding on the busway after getting flagged down.
Marami rin po akong nakikita at report sa amin na may mga tumatakbo or hindi tumitigil pag pinapara. Asahan po ninyo na yan po ay aming i-report sa LTO at yung penalty po ay i-attach natin doon sa may-ari ng motorsiklo. So, hindi pa rin po kayo makakalusot.
Time to take a quick break. One News Now will be back with more stories after that. Stay with us. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Denise Tan. Here's a quick look at some stories making headlines at this hour. Journalist and author Conrado de Quiros has passed away, his family confirmed. He was 72. De Quiros wrote for the Philippine Daily Inquirer and was known for hard-hitting commentaries in his daily column, There's the Rub. Among his most notable pieces was that about national election candidates where he simply put a blank space. Details of De Quiros' wake will be announced soon. There are now 8 prospective bidders for the upgrade of the Ninoy Aquino International Airport. The Transportation Department said Turkish airport operator Limak Group is the latest to buy bidding documents for the project. The deadline for submission of bids is on December 27. The DOTR is expected to announce the winning bidder by the first quarter of 2024. A rollback in oil prices takes effect today. Per liter prices of fuel has been slashed 1 peso and 10 centavos for diesel, 45 centavos for gasoline, and 1 peso and 5 centavos for kerosene. The rollback is attributed to growth on global crude production. Demand for petroleum has also declined worldwide. On a lighter note, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas in several parts of the country. In Metro Manila, MRT3 and LRT2 launched a Christmas train on Monday. MRT3's Ayala station played Christmas songs while the staff wore Santa hats. Some workers from the Transportation Department also went caroling inside the train. Over in Central Luzon, around 50 giant Belen participated in the annual Belenismo competition. The contest is divided into several categories for city, municipality, barangay, individual, church, and business establishment. The Tarlac Heritage Foundation urges tourists to come to the province and take pictures by the giant Belen. In Laguna, San Pablo City went all out with its White Christmas theme for the year. Along Rizal Avenue, posts were decorated with white lanterns. Even the city's century-old mango tree was decked with Yuletide trinkets. San Pablo also has a 20-feet white Christmas tree. Back in the NCR, the Senate is also taking in the holiday spirit. Senate President Juan Miguel Zubiri led the lighting of the upper house's Christmas tree. He also promised a generous bonus for Senate employees. A car will be among the raffle prizes during the upper chamber's Christmas party. One News Now will be back at 3:15 p.m. Join us again later. I'm Denise San. We are One News.